Hi, we want to welcome you to the PACAC Virtual College Exploration for All Students, sponsored by the Pennsylvania Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. PACAC is a nonprofit association comprised of more than 1,200 school counselors, college admission counselors, independent educational consultants, and other professionals responsible for guiding students through the important transition from high school to post-secondary options. We thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot hear or see you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at pacac.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available to you within about a week at that same website, pacac.org. I would now like to turn it over to our presenters, and you are at the session, My Journey, College Students Share Their College Search Experiences.
Okay, awesome. Well, hello. Thank you to everyone who is watching. So we are going to kick off with some introductions and then we'll get started. So just to start off with who I am, my name is Molly Corey. I'm an Associate Director of Admissions at York College. And I'm going to introduce, well, I'm going to toss it over to Spencer. If you would like to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Spencer Smith. I'm a junior civil engineering major at York College. I'm originally from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I'll talk a little bit more about my story later on in the presentation.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Whitfield. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions at Wilson College, and I will let Olivia introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Olivia Mcdonald. I am a junior nursing student. I am from Hempstead, New York, and I will talk about my journey later.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Lowry. I'm an admissions counselor for West Virginia University. And also joining me representing WVU is Laura. And I'm going to turn it over to Laura to kick us off.
Hi, everybody. My name is Laura. I'm a senior at West Virginia University, and I'm actually going to go ahead and start talking about my journey first and my experience choosing WVU. And so right here is just a picture of our downtown area of campus where I spend most of my time as a student here, again, located in Morgantown, West Virginia. Okay, so this is a little bit more about me. So I am a senior this year, which is absolutely crazy to think about, that I'm going to be getting ready for graduation in the spring, but I am majoring in marketing with a minor in hospitality, tourism management, and I'm originally from Freeport, Maine. So for those of you who don't know, Freeport, Maine is going to be a 12-hour trip away from Morgantown. So I definitely do have quite a bit of a trip home. But my junior year of high school was when I really started getting into the college process and looking into where I was going to go to school. So the picture on the top right-hand corner is actually a picture of my sister and I from the first day of junior year of high school, when my dad really started harping on me on what I wanted to figure out and what I wanted to go to school for. And honestly, I didn't even know West Virginia was a state, so I definitely didn't grow up a Mountaineer fan. I know, super embarrassing, but it just kind of goes to show like where my thought process was at. I honestly had no idea what I was interested in majoring in, let alone where I wanted to go to school. So with that in mind, my dad and I just decided to tour a bunch of different colleges to kind of get a feel for what I was interested in. So I toured big schools, small schools, public, private. If it was on the East Coast, chances are I definitely took a tour there or looked into it virtually somehow. And so based off of all my different campus tours that I took, I realized that there was definitely some things that I really liked consistently across the board. So I kind of made a checklist with all the things that I liked. And on my checklist was definitely out of state. I also liked bigger schools because you got a lot more like resources, it seemed like. I really liked having a logo that you could recognize anywhere across not only the entire country, but the entire world as well. And I definitely liked having that school pride where every single student is wearing their school logo every single day and their school colors every single day. So after I had kind of a checklist of things that I really liked in different schools, my dad said, you know what? WVU seems to check off every single box that you have. Why don't we go take a tour, go take the 12-hour trip to Morgantown and see what it has to offer. So junior year, at the spring of my junior year of high school, I took a tour of WVU, and the second I stepped foot onto campus, I just immediately fell in love. Again, it just checked off every single box that I had, and I just knew I was going to become part of the Mountaineer family immediately. So fast forward to senior year of high school, the bottom right-hand corner is a picture of me wearing the flying WV, the day that I told everybody that I was going to attend West Virginia University. So I just knew immediately that I wanted to go there, and I just had my heart set on it all throughout the rest of high school. So flash forward to move-in weekend. It's about to become a freshman in college. I was really excited to move in. There's even a picture of me and my roommate from move-in day right there, the bigger one. And right before moving, I was getting a little hesitant. I was getting a little cold feet. I was really worried. I was 12 hours from home, nervous. It wasn't meant for me. But again, the second that I stepped foot onto campus to move in, I definitely realized that this was the place for me. And I was able to make WVU my home and the Mountaineers my second family. So because of that, I've gotten to become a part of a lot of different activities on campus. So I'm a tour guide now. I've been on the club lacrosse team, and I've even gotten a bunch of great internship opportunities from becoming a Mountaineer. So that's just kind of my story. And I'll go ahead and pass it off to Kelly now.
All right, thanks, Laura. And I think what's so neat about the time we're going to have together today is you just heard Laura's story and Laura's journey and how she found her fit as a Mountaineer. And then you're going to get to hear Olivia and Spencer's stories about their journeys and how they found their fit as well. So hopefully this really is a day that you can learn that however you might be feeling about your college journey is probably pretty normal. And there's lots of different things to consider. So a little more about West Virginia University. If you think your journey leads to joining us as a Mountaineer, which we certainly hope it does, we would encourage you to consider engaging with WVU. Whether you're a senior, junior, or sophomore, you can always connect with me as an admissions counselor. And that's really like a pro tip, I think, across the board. As you're going to hear, when you look at different schools, Laura mentioned she had a long list of schools she was looking at. For every school she was looking at, she had an admissions counselor. And kind of our role as admissions counselors are to help you with anything you need as related to our college or university. So that's definitely something that can really hopefully make your process a little bit smoother. If you know who your go-to is at that college, like, hey, well, is my application submitted? When can I engage with you next virtually? Can you tell me about your scholarship deadlines? That's definitely on, if you're keeping a list or a binder of your college search, writing out who the admissions counselor is a great tip in terms of just making your life a lot easier during your college search. Also, ways to engage with WVU at this time. We have a ton of virtual events that are happening. Some are only 45-minute live stream events from campus. Some are maybe 90-minute info sessions where you can ask us anything. We have some virtual open houses coming up as well. Laura mentioned during her journey that she looked at schools, whether it was in person or virtually, and especially if you have a long list, there are a ton of different ways to engage with those universities. So maybe it is some evenings, maybe it is taking weekends. So certainly we hope you could want to engage with WVU at some point, and we have multiple offerings to make that happen. And we also have announced that our visitor center is going to be resuming in-person campus tours in very limited small groups. So if you have any questions about that, we're glad to assist. We just wanted to each briefly mention, each university that is joining here, part of the role as the admissions counselor is for us to help you explain how to apply to that university. So just quickly about WVU, we do have what's called rolling admissions, which means that we process applications throughout the entire year. So you can apply as early as August of your senior year. Typically takes about 4 to 6 weeks to receive your admissions decision once we have all your application materials. So apply whenever you feel most comfortable. We do encourage applying early because then you can move forward with next steps, like putting down your deposit and selecting your housing. What do you need to apply? Either Common App or our WVU application. We need your transcript, which you can either have your counseling office send. You can send it to us. You can attach it to our application, or you can self-report your classes, grades, and cumulative GPA. And we've also announced that we are test optional for spring 2021 and fall 2021. So certainly glad to have any conversations about that with students, depending on what your major is. So that's, as we kind of are concluding about WVU, we hope you'll have maybe some questions that we can answer at the end, but I'm excited to pass it to Wilson College to talk about the journey to being a Wilson College student.
Hi, so I'm Olivia Mcdonald. I am originally from New York, and a lot of people must be wondering, how did somebody from New York end up in a small town in Pennsylvania? Well, originally, when I was applying to schools, I did apply to several schools in the SUNY system, and I did get into two pre-nursing programs, in the SUNY system, and I only applied to one out-of-state school, which was Wilson. And to me, if I got into the nursing program at Wilson, I felt as though it was meant to be. So I did get in, and I was so excited because I really wanted that hands-on nursing experience in my first year, just to make sure and solidify that I was ready to be a nurse after I'd taken pre-nursing and CNA courses in high school. So on campus, I am currently a resident assistant, a member of Spanish Club and Learning Campus, which is a migrant tutoring education program for elementary students in Chambersburg. And just being at Wilson has helped me to broaden my networks with other people in the community. And I'm just able to expand on all of the things that would help me to better become a nurse. And in the picture in the middle, me sitting on the grass, that was when I toured Wilson after I had been accepted. And I was so excited to be here. I had met the director of nursing and a few of my future nursing professors, and I was just overall excited. And also, one of the first admissions counselors that I had met besides my own was Vanessa. So with that being said, I will hand it over to her.
There we go. Thank you, Olivia. So I'm also a Wilson alum. Well, again, my name is Vanessa Whitfield. I'm also a Wilson alum. I graduated in 2014. My mother also went to school here. She attended in 2010. So I've been at this institution for some time now. Makes me feel old sometimes. So I'll tell you about the application process, but well, first let me start off with some visit stuff. If you're interested in checking us out, we are actually doing in-person visits, and we're also having in-person open houses, but we also have a lot of different virtual events. You can find them on our website, definitely easy to find and register for them. I strongly encourage all students throughout the process to visit schools, even if that's a virtual kind of thing or doing it in person. That's definitely how you get a better vibe of the campus and whatnot. So if you're able to, definitely try to visit schools throughout this process. So we are rolling admissions as well, which basically means, we don't really have any hard deadlines. The only hard deadline that we have is like every other college, which is the national decision date, which is May 1st. But we do actually accept students after the 1st, but we want you to try to stick to that date, of course. We are also test optional, except for nursing. Nursing, we still require test scores and whatnot. But the only other required document would just be your transcript and the application. It is free to apply. We have our own application, and we also accept the Common App. But just some quick little notes about our campus. We are definitely a smaller school. We're located in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Most people don't know where that is. I usually say we're about an hour south of Hershey Park. I assume everyone knows what Hershey Park is. So that's where our location is. We're really close to a lot of major cities too, like Baltimore, DC. They're only about an hour and a half from us. So we'll have students go there on the weekends and whatnot. So that's nice. So we have about a little over 1,600 total students, which means smaller class sizes, which was one of my favorite aspects about this school. I came from a massive high school. When I got to Wilson, at first I was a little kind of unsure about it because of college being smaller than my high school. It just didn't make sense to me, but it also turned out to be a huge benefit for that reason. The fact that the professors are genuine folks, they want you to come and ask them for help. They always have their office hours posted. I was an athlete involved with a lot of sports. I would see my professors out in the basketball court in the bleachers watching me and supporting me. So that's definitely a neat opportunity that I got to experience as I was a Wilson student here. But now I work here, yay. Wilson, we are tiny, but we definitely have a lot to offer students. And that's when we, the admissions office, come into the picture and have to, make people aware of our opportunities here. So if you're interested in checking us out, our contact information will be posted a little later, but thank you for checking us out. And now I'm going to pass it off to Molly.
Okay, now I'm going to pass it off to Spencer, and then I will chat about the admissions process. So take it away, Spencer.
So hi, everyone. As mentioned before, my name is Spencer Smith. I'm a civil engineering major as well as an environmental sustainability minor here at York College. I'm a junior. So I'll talk a little bit about how I came to find York and eventually came to be here. So I originally, kind of like every other student has mentioned today, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but my parents had me go to a college fair near my house, and that's where I originally found York. And they said, well, why don't you take a look, because it's far away but not too far away where you'll like be really gone from home. So we could come, and I was originally a swimmer, so they said that they could come and see my meets if I was still swimming at that point. And so I went, and I just fell in love with the campus. I knew the president of the college. She knew me by name. The head of the civil department knew me again by name, and the dean of admissions also knew me by name. And I know because later I decided to come back just to make sure that York was where I wanted to be about a year later, and all of them recognized me, and they said, oh, hey, Spencer, great to see you back. And I had taken my SAT, and they were like, how did the SAT go, and all this stuff. And so that's when I decided to early decision. And so I went home, and a couple weeks went by, and I got a call from my admissions counselor, and she said, hey, you won't get your letter in the mail for a number of weeks after this, but I wanted to let you know because it ended up that day was my birthday. She said, we just found out today, but you're accepted to York, and since you early decisioned, you're all ready to go, and we have your financial aid and everything set up. And also happy birthday. So I got a little early birthday present that year, which was really nice. And she also told me that when she walked into the dean of admissions, his office, she was like, hey, Spencer early decision. He said, yes, we got him. So I always really liked the personal engagement. I felt like I was never just a number. I was Spencer Smith on campus. And that was further cemented by the staff and the faculty. I still know the president by name, and she always asks me how I'm doing when I see her on campus. And I'm super involved on campus now, as you can see by the list there. I won't read it, but yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Spencer. So just to touch base on York College briefly about where we are, our size, and then we'll talk about the application and then visiting. So York College is obviously in York, Pennsylvania. We actually are not too far from Wilson. We are definitely a little bit of a hike from West Virginia. That's okay. So we do sit in South Central Pennsylvania, really are in a nice spot. As Vanessa mentioned, there are a lot of cities close by. So if you want to just go explore on the weekend with your friends, or if you're looking for an internship or even a job when you graduate, we really are in a nice location. As far as York College, we are a 4-year private liberal arts school. We're medium-sized. So we're a little bit bigger than Wilson, definitely a lot smaller than West Virginia. We have about 4,000 full-time students. So it's really nice size because it's big enough where you don't know every single person you walk by, but it's small enough that your average class size is roughly 19 students. I also forgot to mention, I too am a York College alum. I graduated back in 2012. I'm from the local area. I went to a really small high school, so coming to York was so refreshing to not know every single person and, you know, who's dating who and what clubs they're in and all of that. So personally, that was really my interest in York. So if you like what you heard today, you're interested, maybe you want to apply. As far as York's application, it is available for all seniors right now. We're rolling admissions, so we have no deadlines. You can apply anytime during your senior year. Our application is completely free. So you can apply on our website or you could apply on the Common App. It does not matter. And we have officially gone test optional for the first time ever for fall 2021. So if you have test scores, you can definitely submit them. As you can see, if you submit test scores, it's very simple. All we need is the application, your high school transcript, and your scores. In general, we're typically looking for about a 3.0 GPA and around 1,000 for your SAT. But say you can't take the SAT this year, or you took it and you're not really happy with your score, you can always apply test optional. With test optional, there are definitely a few more requirements that we need. So we obviously need your high school transcript, but we would like 2 letters of recommendation from a junior or senior year teacher, as well as one from your guidance counselor. And then finally, we would like a personal essay. You can write about anything you want. We have prompts on our application, or you can use the Common App prompts. That's up to you. As far as visiting, if maybe you want to start there and then maybe apply. So we are offering campus tours now. It is very modified. So our visits are smaller groups. We only limit 12 people per tour. Everyone is social distancing. We require all guests to wear a face mask at all times on campus. It is mostly an outdoor walking tour. You will see a residence hall and our sport and fitness center, but for the safety of our students, we really won't be going in any academic buildings. So if you really want to step foot on campus, we do offer those tours. If you maybe don't want to make the trip just yet, we do offer virtual visits. We do have 2 open houses that are virtual coming up this Saturday and in November. Those are great, so you can meet professors in a separate Zoom room. They're actually more personalized, I think. So yes, we have all sorts of opportunities to visit. But with that being said, we will take any questions if you guys have any. Oh, that's just our contact information. But I will open it up and see if any of our attendees have questions.
And maybe to kick us off, so feel free to pop something in the Q&A, because I think you kind of each touched on it, but I think it'd be a more interesting in-depth deep dive. What led you to pick your major? And did you pick your major initially? So maybe we could just do like the same presentation order, like Laura, Olivia, Spencer. Like you each shared your major, but maybe what led you to pick your major? Did you know that's what you wanted to major in?
Yeah, I can go ahead and answer that. So I initially chose marketing as my major when I applied. So I didn't change my major once throughout my time here at WVU. And I chose marketing because it was something that I knew I was interested in, but it was also a really good umbrella category. So I could, if I wanted to go to grad school for something specific, I could. If I wanted to go to work right outside of college, I could, and really kind of see what kind I was really interested in. But throughout my time here, I randomly just took a hospitality course and I absolutely loved it, and enough to go to my guidance counselor or admission and say, hey, I'm really interested in double majoring in hospitality and marketing. Is that something that is feasible for me? Is it going to put an extra year on for me? And they said that I would be here an extra year just because I wanted a double major so late in the game. And so I decided to just do a minor instead. But that minor is still super, super helpful. I've gone to take a lot of really great hospitality classes. And it was through those hospitality classes that I was able to go ahead and get an internship this past summer in the hospitality industry. And of course, with everything going on, hospitality industry is not doing too well. So the fact that my professors kind of bent over backwards to really allow me to do what I wanted to do this past summer was really great and phenomenal. So that's kind of how I got into what I'm majoring in and what I want to do in the future after I graduate.
So my story is just a little bit shorter. I had started my nursing journey in high school. In 10th grade, I started my pre-nursing certified nursing assistant program. And then when I graduated high school, I had already had the nursing assistant title. So it was just more of a continuation of that education. And coming to Wilson, again, I just felt as if this was the perfect place for me to have a smaller community to get to know my clients and my patients when I'm doing my clinicals and have an easier way to follow up with them if I was to go back to a certain facility in the community.
So then I guess I'll go next. So for me, I had planned on doing engineering for a while. I wasn't exactly sure what type of engineering because engineering as a whole is very general. But I really wanted to do civil engineering because I wanted to become an architect. But as I looked, one of the things that I really wanted to get involved in was environmental sustainability. And York College had a really, really robust sustainability program. And so that kind of led me on the pathway to go more environmental with my civil engineering degree, because even civil engineering itself is very broad. So that was kind of one reason why I chose York, and York has also helped mold my interest in sustainability from there.
Awesome. Thank you for providing your input. We're going to ask you another question because there haven't been any typed questions. If you guys could go back to your high school years, those great years, awkward years, what would you wish you could change thinking about college, that whole process, or nothing? What are your thoughts? And we can start, we'll just continue. We'll do West Virginia, Wilson, and York.
All right. So I think that what I would change about my college search was I really did it on my own with my dad. I didn't really know that I had all these resources and my own admissions counselors for each school that I applied to and visited. So I just kind of dived right on in, and I didn't really have much guidance because I didn't know I had those resources. So going back, I definitely would have been going to my own admissions counselors more and kind of getting more information from them than just kind of going in blindfolded.
I think I would have considered smaller schools more. I felt that because I went to such a large high school and everyone was going to bigger, more name brand schools and programs, that I had to do that. And I wish I would have considered more liberal arts, small colleges along with Wilson. And on top of that, I wish I would have reached out to my admission counselors sooner and developed a personal relationship with them, because it definitely helped me when I came to Wilson during the tours and during orientation weeks and days.
I would say the one thing that I wish I had done was I wish I had done more in-person like touring. I didn't go to very many open houses. Instead, I just focused on all the things virtual. And I know that that's kind of funny to say now that most things are full virtual, but even going to like virtual tours that we have, the virtual tours that most colleges have now would still be better than what just like reading from the list on the website, because getting an opinion from students is really the important part of it. And I didn't do that for enough colleges.
Okay. Let's ask one more question. Why not? Okay, so so you guys are all in different programs, which is really kind of fun. It's all over the place. So what would be your favorite class you guys have taken at your school so far?
So my favorite class that I've taken so far here at WVU was probably my first hospitality class that really got me interested in that industry. It was about 12 students or so. So it was very, very small, even though it was a general education hospitality class. And we actually got to do a bunch of different traveling throughout the semester. So I got to visit the Greenbrier, got to go to Ogle Bay Resort. So just got to visit a bunch of different places. And again, it was a really small class size, even though we do have 30,000 students here.
I think it was my anatomy and physiology classes. It was kind of a part 1, part 2 situation with those classes, but I really enjoyed that class, and it really zeroed in on why I joined nursing or the nursing program. And it just really overall zeroed in on what I wanted to do post-grad, even after Wilson.
Have you had to take a class with the mannequin?
I
deliver the baby?
Yeah, I'm taking pediatrics now, so that's the one with the baby. So unfortunately, COVID kind of put a damper on that. But yeah, that would have been that class. Otherwise, we did work with cadavers and mannequins in our anatomy and physiology class and other clinicals.
Scary.
So I might be kind of cheating with this one, but in the spring, I took a class that included a study abroad. So I actually got to study abroad in Costa Rica. And again, that was for sustainability, which is already such a big part of my life. And I got to take it with my favorite professor that I've had here at the college, or one of my favorites. I've had a lot of really, really good professors, but he convinced me to take the class, even though there was a study abroad portion to it. And I was nervous about going to another country because I never have before. But he encouraged me to take it, and it really changed my entire outlook on sustainability, but also just my adult life as a whole. Not to sound over dramatic, but just the way that I want to take my work and where I want to be as an adult in terms of the workforce. So it was really a big class for me.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys for answering those questions. Does anyone have any other questions?
You know, I was thinking, we kind of touched on this question. We said what you wish you would have done, because I think those, again, different responses, you can tell very different journeys. I'm curious if you each would be willing to share, like, what piece of advice would you give? And maybe the piece of advice is what you wish you would have done, but is there a certain piece of advice that, and I know, I think you guys are all involved actively on campus, so you get to work with prospective students. So what's your one piece of advice that you always give to high school students?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I give to high school students is that when they become freshmen and they're living at school, typically you're not living at home, or it might be far away from campus. The best way to make friends is to A, make friends with everyone in your residence hall, but B, definitely join a club or organization that pertains to something that you're really interested in. That way you can meet friends outside of classes and outside of where you're living, but they also are going to have similar interests and beliefs as you do.
I think it would probably be similar to what Laura said. Definitely reach out to the people around you. So if you're living in a residence hall, join the different clubs or go to your RA's programs. Just a little bit of a plug from an RA. Go to your RA's programs, and in your classes, definitely sit next to someone new your first time in class, or don't be afraid to ask questions when you're in class, because a lot of the times when I was in my classes, I asked a question, somebody looked over and said, you know, I was thinking the same thing. And then from there, we just made a study group and started hanging out afterwards. So definitely communication and meeting new people is the best way to have an overall great college experience.
I mean, not to repeat the same thing a third time, but my biggest thing, and what I always end all of my tours off with, is get involved. You saw on the last slide, but I'm an ambassador, as community service scholar. I'm the president of the Alumni Ambassadors. I'm the treasurer of the ASC Student Chapter. I'm the Sustainability Committee Chairman on Student Senate. I've been on Dean's List all years here at college. So get involved. Do whatever you can to get involved, whether it's at one of these colleges or at any college. Get involved, because as your parents will always tell you, this is the time of your life, and it's what you make of it. And so get out there, get involved, meet new people, and make yourself tired. Work hard and do great things.
Like, Spencer, did you say make yourself tired?
Yeah, that's what my parents always told me. My mom says you can sleep later, but you can't overcome regret. So always get involved, always go to that extra thing.
That's some solid parental advice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if no one has any other questions, then we can definitely wrap this up. But thank you to our attendees who watched this. Hopefully you got some good information Thank you to Kelly and Vanessa and Olivia, Laura, and Spencer. Hopefully you guys enjoyed doing this too. But yes, hopefully our facilitator will come back.
I'm here. Sorry about that. All right, thank you for that great presentation. I hope the students on enjoyed it, and I hope you got something out of it. I don't know why I'm having issues sharing my screen today. It's not going to work. All right. What I would like to say is you are going to be receiving a questionnaire. It's about a 3-question questionnaire. First time using technology here, guys. You're going to get a very short questionnaire, so please do that when you're done. If you're interested in more sessions, we have them over the next, I think, 2 weeks. You can sign up for sessions at pacac.org. This session and all of the other sessions will also be available on PACAC's website. So if you were interested in some sessions that you couldn't attend, you'll be able to check those out. So we thank you to the panelists. That was wonderful. Thank you to the students. The best of luck to you. Hopefully you get back on campus in some normal way at some point in time, but we wish you the best of luck. And thank you to every single one of you. And thank you to the students for giving us your time today. So be well, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.